Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good morning, good morning, cartoon crew. Good morning, Saturday morning cartoons. Welcome. I am Mark B. Lee, and along with my fabulous co-host, Rosemary. Rose, your hair looks wonderful for some reason. Rosemary Rose. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Rosemary Rose. It's a guy giving you a compliment, Rose. Rosemary Rose and the fantastic. I love your background, Jerome. Jerome Connor. Yay!
Yay!
How you guys doing?
Rose, did you get a haircut? Is that what it is?
No. I just washed it yesterday. So
is that all you? I don't know.
Well, you know what? I was outside this morning in the heat and the humidity, and maybe they fluffed it up a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah,
looks great.
Yeah,
I already sped run grocery shopping this morning, guys.
Yeah, I know. Wow. You're like me. You're an early riser, and you get out there just like I do. I love to get up early. I was thinking about this yesterday. My favorite times of the day is dawn and dusk. Those are my favorite times of the day. It's just beautiful, the atmosphere, the views that you get to see, sunrise, sunset. Those are my favorite times of the day. The heat of the day, screw that crap. Speaking of heat of the day, if you knuckleheads, okay, if you're watching us this morning right now, which many of you are, I can see, that's fantastic. That means you have not gotten your ass out on a beach. If you are going to fight for 1 square foot, I should say inch, okay, of sand, okay, you're a knucklehead. No.
Wait a minute. I say bring the sand to your house. Put it in, make a little square on your lawn, and then, they can make that those sound effects of the waves coming in. Yeah, exactly. I've got a machine that makes wave noises.
It sounds like a freaking hurricane.
It's just not the same, man.
You
don't have that. You don't have that sound, the ocean, the sound.
All right, because I lived up north and I know what summers are like. First day of summer, yada yada yada. In Baltimore, you literally have to drive 3 hours to the beach.
And that's because he lives on the beach.
As well as everyone else in the state of Maryland. They're all on the same highway you're on. Living in Florida, we have to flip a coin. Am I going to Walmart or am I going to the beach? Walmart, beach, Walmart. It's so convenient for us. So I do not travel on the holidays, as I mentioned before, mainly because everyone else is where I'm going. Why would I want to do that? It makes absolutely no sense. So Monday, I'm going to work. I'm going in the office. I'm going to spend my day.
I thought you were crazy when I read that. That's nuts.
Why? I'm going to make up time, huh?
I'm forced to go to work on Monday also. Okay.
You're forced to go to work?
Amazon doesn't close.
Yeah, well, I'm not forced to go to work. I literally want to clear off. I designed 2 houses on one screen on Thursday and Friday. Wow. I had them both in the same. I was literally designing 2 houses, pulling from one design, throwing it into the next design, whatever. And I shipped the preliminary drawings to the clients Friday afternoon before I left to the office. I emailed it to them. Say, here you guys go, review it. I've never done that before. Usually I concentrate on one house. I finish that house. I go to the next house. Okay. I didn't do it. I did 2 at one time. I was so impressed with myself, But anyway, so
you're gonna crank up the Johnny Quest music at work, is what you're talking about.
No, I'm not gonna. You know what? I don't know why I have not actually been putting in some background music as we speak. But anyway, for those of you guys that are joining us for the first time, this is Saturday Morning Cartoons. I am Mark, Rosemary Rose, Jerome Connor, and what we do. We delve a little further back into your past, into your youth. We talk about cartoons that you grew up with when you were younger. You had cereal, pajamas, you ran downstairs, you turned on the TV. Of course, you had to walk across the room to turn on the freaking TV because most remotes didn't exist back then.
Did as a kid?
Yeah.
Did you what was it? Deep piled shag carpeting?
Yes, of course, man.
Okay, good.
It was great to roll around in.
Lose yourself. You could lose your siblings in there because it was so deep sometimes.
It was right next to my blue light posters of my big, busty black women with the big frills on their head. You know, they glow in the dark. So, but once again, Saturday morning cartoons, guys, and believe it or not, this week it is my turn. Shut up, music. It is my turn, and I have something interesting. It might be a good idea if I brought up my freaking script, which I did not.
Well, there's a thought.
There's a thought. Oh, it came right on up. I love it. All right, so Saturday morning cartoons. There's a lot of new people that are watching this morning. I want to say hello. Sabine, if you're watching, good morning. Meine Deutsche ist scheiße, as you know. So did I confuse you guys just then, didn't I? Anyway, so Saturday morning cartoons. So it's my turn. Who did it? It was your turn last week, Rose.
Yeah, we went to the circus. Yeah.
No, you went to the circus. Okay? I kept my feet firmly planted on the ground, watching these weird circus cartoons you were showing. It was weird. I felt like I was in the classic black and white movie from the 40s called The Freaks. Okay. Gabba gabba, one of us. Yeah. So anyway, but I got something better than Rose's show from last week's circus. And you guys are gonna love this because with every sweet, lovely cartoon, especially if it's superhero related, there's a yin and a yang. Okay, and of course the yin would be, the good guys. Okay, but with every good guy, good person, good animal, you got to have a yang. A bad guy, bad person, bad animal. And this is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the really rotten guy. Okay, now of course there are more rotten guys out there than I could cover in this one show. So I do have I didn't upload that, did I? I do have.
You have a part 2 in the works.
It has to be. Everything that we do is basically a part 2, and that's because we have no choice. There's just too much material for us to cover. Oh my God! I just went into my files here, and the first thing that shows up is SMC goes to the circus. Good God in heaven! I thought we've gone past that. Once again, good morning to our crew, and we're going to go ahead and talk about our really rotten guys. But before we do that, oh my God, I can't find it. I'll have to wait for that. We have a duo that I'm going to bring up at some point. So let's get on with this. I have about 10 bad guys that I'm sure everyone would remember. Of course, like I said before, not all of them we can have in this show. There are other important bad guys I wish I could have included in this show. I could have substituted, but I know we can do a part 2. And I want you guys to look at this first clip and tell me if you know who this character is. I know you do, but what we're going to do after I get out of this file here is enjoy the really rotten guys video. And here you guys just watch this compilation and you'll know exactly who this is. But this is really a bad guy. I think this is cruelty to mutants. Now, I'm going to say mutants, and you'll know why I say mutants in a minute.
Who in blazes can that be? Go away! Oh, Mother!
Gargamel, I told you to get rid of this miserable flea bag. You know I hate cats.
But Mother,
And what about those nasty little Smurfs? Have you caught them yet?
Well,
Of course not. Without me, you can't do anything right.
Oh, my dear Smurfette.
All right, as we keep watching about this bad guy, I'm going to go ahead and read my script here. He is the main antagonist who, along with his cat, Azrael, and later with a young apprentice named Scruple, continued to plot against the Smurfs, mutants, in order to capture and or eliminate them. He was accountable for the creation of Smurfette, I didn't know that, who was changed into a real Smurf by Papa Smurf. Gargamel is a loathsome individual who is prepared to commit many sinister and cruel acts to achieve his goals, and he can be downright ruthless on occasions, such as enjoying the time to torment the Smurfs, mutants, threatening to burn Puppy alive, and even, who the hell's Puppy? And even attempt to harm the defenseless baby Smurf. There was a baby Smurf?
Yeah.
He has even gone out of his way to simply make sure to ruin the happiness of others. So our first rotten guy for today is Gargamel. So Jerome, you and Rose, you guys seem to have watched the Smurfs more than I have back when I was growing up. Tell us a little bit about what you know.
Go ahead, Rose.
Well, I mean, you basically got like all the points here. Gargamel is, the bad guy. If it wasn't for Gargamel, there wouldn't be a show. He's the best part of it. I'm pro Gargamel. I'm team Gargamel. With Azrael.
Wow.
I love seeing all the things he comes up with. You know that Smurfs are always going to win, but you guys kind of hoping maybe he'll get some kind of edge. I really enjoyed this cartoon. Just like Jennifer, we grew up watching this show. It was a big deal. It was a big deal on the playground. It was a big deal in the classroom. We always talked about what happened on the Smurfs on Saturday.
Oh, you got to be kidding me!
Oh,
really?
It was huge. It was huge.
It was huge.
And I'm not just talking girls. I'm talking the guys watched it too. So
it was big. It was big.
Okay, it's that
for a certain age set though. For a certain age set though.
Yeah, but it's that freaking theme music that got on my nerves most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, you got that. You've got that little chitter. But then you got Gargamel to balance it out.
Yeah, and then they went on and made a CGI movie of it.
I know.
Jerome, what do you know? What do you know about the Smurfs? Please tell me. Please end my suffering, please.
Started as a toy line. Is originally from France.
Figures.
But when Rose is not kidding. This was huge in the 80s. I mean, Smurf, you had like people put like little Smurfs on their dashboards on their cars.
Why?
Because they were popular. It was like about the same time as the Raisins.
Well, now here's another thing, though, Jerome. I'm sorry. Let me just interject here. Everybody with the Smurfs, it's sort of like they all had their own personality, so you could find your personality in those Smurfs, and you'd buy those Smurfs.
Exactly. I'm not disputing that. What I'm saying is that it didn't matter which Smurf. They were huge as a per se everything. In the 1980s, you could not swing a dead cat without hitting a Smurf.
You said dead cat. I love it. Yeah.
Okay. But the point, though, is that the Smurfs were huge, and they still are. As a matter of fact, their NPR. No, that was a different thing. Never mind. That was a different show. We'll talk about that later. But
thank God you didn't say NFT. They're NFT. Okay.
No. But the Smurfs were popular. Did I watch them? I watched 3 or 4 episodes just because I wanted to see what was the whole popular. Because I didn't get it either. I'm not a big fan of the Smurfs. I'm with Rose. No,
you're with me. You're with me. What are you talking about?
I want the bad guy to win in this case.
Right.
But you got to admit it was funny because he has a Smurf teddy bear next to him when he was sleeping there. But it's just the Smurfs. The simple fact was you could not escape them in the 1980s.
Okay. Well, we're gonna escape them right now, and we're gonna move on to something at least a little better right now. So that was Gargamel. That was my first.
Oh, there's the cat behind Rose.
There's the cat. Yeah, I wonder what they taste like with hot sauce. Anyway, so
ask Al.
This is my next entry, and you guys know of this entry because the show itself was groundbreaking. It was straight out of the comics. It was not even a mainstream comic until I think it showed. It was very popular because it was almost like backdoor. The bad guy in this show, his name was Shredder. Okay. And these heroes in a half shell, okay, have no shortage of bizarre enemies, but the most lethal among them by far is the leader of the Foot Clan. I got friends who created their own group, the Foot Clan. They actually walk in the Dragon Con parade every year, and it cracks me up every time I see them, because here comes a warthog, and here comes some other muscle-bound creature. Anyway, the Master Ninja, known as the Shredder, was the main antagonist. Even in his campiest incarnation, this razor-bladed death machine proved to be just as skilled in martial arts as the Turtles, besting them in battle on a few occasions. With his legion of foot ninjas, as well as his advanced technology provided by the alien tyrant known as Krang, Shredder more than earned his title as the Turtles' greatest foe. So let's take a look at a little bit of Shredder here. Oh, I forgot to mention he's going to be laughing throughout this entire clip, okay? See what I
mean? Well, he's a jolly sort of guy.
Okay, I'm not going to let you listen to that much, but I'll let you see the visuals. Also, as a backup, guys, remember, if we get knocked off by some of the studios or whatever, we are also on Twitch. You can find us. I think our name is MBL, Mark Brian Lee, SMC, Saturday Morning Cartoons. That's the Twitch channel. So you can find us on there. And we seem to be... Thanks, Jennifer. I mean, really... Jennifer wanted to chime in. She wants to be a Shredder.
No, she just wants to be an evil villain. No.
Yeah. All right. Well, here's Jennifer right now.
What's that?
Thanks, Jennifer. We don't want to listen to you anymore. Okay, so Shredder, even in the live-action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, which I happen to like. I really did like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when they came on. Wait a minute.
Which one? The very first one? There's been like what, 7, 8 of them or something?
Oh, I didn't know it was that many of them.
There's been a lot of them.
Anytime anything is groundbreaking, I always go to the first one. I actually watched the first one at the theater, so
okay.
It was that one that I did like. I think they kind of copied it pretty good. All of the bad guys that were in there. But looking at Shredder alone, I mean, how do you pick your nose? I mean, I'm just curious.
It's kind of like how Wolverine does it. It's the same thing.
You got to make sure you watch yourself. You don't stab yourself in the temples going for that. Rose, are you familiar with Shredder?
Of course. I like the original cartoon though. I haven't watched a lot of the newer stuff.
Ah, okay. Good to hear, Joe. You playing with your kids again, huh?
No. That's adults, man. That's adult time. They keep the kids away from the good toys.
Yeah, and about picking your nose, here's Jennifer's response, of course. Yeah, it was very... All right, here we go. As Jennifer, I'm always going to think of that laugh every time I see Jennifer or hear from Jennifer now. You can't avoid it. So that was my second induction here in terms of the really rotten guys with Shredder. He was pretty rotten. Now, for my next
Whoa. Wait a second. I'm sorry. I want to stop for a second, and I want to talk about the revelation that is, I didn't never know that your middle initial stood for Brian.
I didn't either.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey guys, my middle name is Brian. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Brian.
I always thought it was for badass. So
Oh, wow. I can't attest to that when I'm on a stand in court. Please state your name. I'm Mark Badass Lee. Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
That won't work.
That's like a song right there,
And after I say that on the stand, of course I'm going.
I do want to correct something you said earlier, though.
Please.
When you said about the comic was actually revolutionary and was the thing that started what was known as the black and white martial art critters. Okay?
That is correct. I'm aware of that.
And it broke ground in the independence of people self-publishing, which later led to some of the big names in the industry that we have today. How they started out was they self-published. And to this day, the Turtles are still the touchstone that everybody is using when they do independent self-publishing.
Okay.
This book was huge. The first 4 or 5 issues of the comic went through at least 10 printings, which was unheard of and still is unheard of.
Okay.
This is a very popular and was before the cartoon came out.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. In terms of my middle name, here she goes again.
That's
thanks
cool
a lot.
too. I like that.
Wait a minute, it's not Batman?
No, but Joe thought I was Bartholomew. How the hell would he think my mother, I'm sorry, from an African American family would name my ass Bartholomew?
Because she didn't like you, or she wanted to punish you, or something.
You can't even say that fast 3 times. You just and yes, Joe, you're right. It was a big inspiration. So, all right. So that's Shredder, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We're going to go ahead and move along here, and we're coming to my favorite topic. This is not it could be my favorite bad guy, but since all of the bad guys that I've shown you guys thus far, and there's only really been 2 of them, this third one is more towards real life. If there was, in fact, a bad guy, it's like a Bond bad guy. These other bad guys, you wouldn't have a Bond bad guy dressed up in a razor lace clawed outfit, okay, or messing around with little blue beams, mutants, as I said. Yes, this was the true bad guy. And I'm going to show you this, and I'm going to watch all the frowns on the faces as they come up, but you knew it had to happen.
What's an uh-oh? He's uh-oh'd. Mark, are you there?
Yeah, no, I'm here. My clip's gone.
See, the villain didn't want the publicity, so he came in and took your clip.
So we're going to come back to that one. I know why it's gone. It wouldn't download, and I plan on actually showing it via YouTube, but I'm not going to fiddle through that yet. I'm going to show you my 4th bad guy before we go to our real life bad guy. This 4th bad guy is pretty much synonymous with anything bad. The name alone is synonymous with evil. You say this name if, especially in this hard time and era that we're going through. If you get a knock, I'm going to let you guys guess. If you get a knock on the door, who do you expect that to be?
Land shark.
Good answer. Rose?
I was going to say the IRS.
That's a good answer too. Now, if that was encompassed, embodied into a person with a name, what name would you come up with?
Boris
there's a lot of things I could say that could get me in trouble.
Just call them out. You guys tell me.
The government?
Yeah, so I was thinking some politician. There's a couple of politicians.
Well, hold on, guys. Remember what the topic of this show is.
Well, that's why I was saying it could have been a politician. But I to me, the ultimate bad guy would be like something out of one of the superhero comics.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be Lex Luthor because he'd send a minion. Okay.
Okay. Let's go to our cartoon crew. If you guys got some answers and one just came up, that's a description.
Jennifer, we're not down in Georgia yet, and and I don't have a fiddle with me.
Well, here it is. You guys are going to know exactly who I'm talking about just from this. Wait for it.
Oh.
Into the northern region of Canada at the close of the 19th century rode Dudley Do-Right of the Mounties, lonely defender of justice and fair play, handsome, brave, daring, and hopelessly lost.
These service station maps are impossible. Can't even fold up the thing. I think I should have turned left at that last tree.
Meanwhile, a short distance away, Snidely Whiplash was up to his favorite pastime, tying women to railroad tracks. He soon had unexpected company.
A Mountie! Correct. Pardon me, sir, but do you happen to know the way to the Royal Canadian Mountie Camp?
Why, yes, I do. Oh, this pesky knot. Could you give me a hand, or rather finger?
Always willing to help a citizen in need. There.
Dudley Do-Right of the Mounties. Get out of that if you can.
Oh, fudge.
All right, Snidely Whiplash originally appeared as the main antagonist in the Dudley Do-Right of the Mounties segments of the animated television series The Rocky and Bullwinkle Show. He is the arch enemy of Dudley Do-Right. He was listed among the 100 greatest characters in television animation. The character was voiced by Hans Conrad in the original cartoon series. Whiplash is the stereotypical villain in the style of stock characters found in silent films, wearing black clothing and a top hat with a handlebar mustache. In the cartoon's opening segments, Whiplash is seen tying Nell Fenwick to a railroad track. That's got to be bad on the back. Anyway, Whiplash is obsessed with tying young women to railroad tracks. He has no reason to do so and realizes no gain, profit, or advantage, but is simply compelled to do it. So that's Snidely Whiplash, guys. Comment?
I really like this guy because he reminds me of the old silent films, and he's just perfect. You know, he's a little, you know, he looks a little bit like the devil. You know, he's got that big old long nose. Dangerous.
Yeah,
it reminds me of the villains from what was it, Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm? That sort of one. That's an old classic silent films. And,
coming to foreclose on the farm.
Exactly, and they even did the whole tying somebody to the railroad tracks back then. And you have to admit, this is, if you're going to be a villain, Snidely Whiplash is one of the villains to be, because he has no the person who keeps beating him most of the time is Nell.
Yeah.
Nell and the horse. Dudley just sort of is there and gets the final act or whatever to
I don't know what to do next.
Yeah. Now there was apparently a cartoon where they swapped hats by accident. Okay.
Oh, yes, you're right. Yes.
And Dudley became an actually really good, competent villain in that episode. So for that alone, I mean, I want to see that. I'm gonna have to find that episode.
I am actually pretty shocked you knew that, because that is something that I knew as well. But I said, no, I'm not even gonna mention it during the show because it's irrelevant. Well, it's not really relevant, but. I'm really impressed that you actually remember that they did actually switch roles when they switched hats. And it was great. Hello to Terry over there in Ireland. Hey, buddy boy. Hope you're doing fine. Yes, we are good at being bad. I think that's a compliment. I don't know. Even his color is bad. Putrid gray-green. Yes. Like the Wicked Witch of the East, or was it the West? I always get them confused.
West.
The West. Okay. Yeah.
The East got into a land deal with Dorothy.
You're right. So once again, for those that are joining us who finally got out of bed, Saturday Morning Cartoons is what we do each and every week. We focus on various cartoons of our era, of our upbringing. If you guys are as old and handsome as I am, you still remember the TV shows, the cartoon shows that you watched growing up. We don't cover an entire, 20-year span, I would say, of cartoons in one show. So you have to come back each and every week to see what we're going to be talking about next. So that was my entry of Dudley Do-Right. This next one is a crew favorite. I think it's a favorite for everyone out there. Remember, the title of this show is Really Rotten Guys. And guys can, encompass everything from robots to animals. This next character we all know and love well. Certain items are wrong. Certain items are repeated in everyday conversation amongst you guys. And I think we kind of feel sorry for this guy, which is, it's kind of morbid that to feel sorry for a character that is out to do harm, ladies and gentlemen. And I want you to watch this clip for a little bit and tell me if you're still in his corner. Because remember, he is a really rotten guy. He's a really rotten guy, and all of you guys should really be ashamed of yourselves. I'm not going to show you all, but there are 23 methods of this guy's acts. Watch it.
Oh, yeah.
In a hazardous business such as mine, I have found it useful to keep a photographic record of my activities in order to isolate possible errors such as the foregoing.
That was one.
Well, what happened?
I don't know. It's a good question.
It locked up on you. Oh, there he goes.
Yeah.
Well, listen, man.
Meep meep.
And look at the number up in the upper left corner here.
Mm-hmm. I love how gravity is subjective.
I agree. I'll let you guys continue to watch while I go ahead and talk a little bit about Wile E. Coyote. The coyote, appears separately as an occasional antagonist of Bugs Bunny in 5 shorts from 1952 to 1963. While he is generally silent in the Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner shorts, he speaks with a refined accent in these solo outings, beginning with 1952's Operation Rabbit, introducing himself as Wile E. Coyote Genius, voiced by, of course, our wonderful voice actor, most well-known voice actor of all time, Mel Blanc. First appearing in 1949 in the theatrical cartoon short Fast and Furious. In each episode, the cunning, devious, and constantly hungry coyote repeatedly attempts to catch and subsequently eat the Roadrunner, but is successful in catching the Roadrunner, but not eating it, on only extremely rare occasions. There are some cartoons, ladies and gentlemen, where Wile E. Coyote is actually very, very successful in what he does. Instead of his animal instincts, the coyote uses absurdly complex contraptions, sometimes in the manner of Rube Goldberg, to try to catch his prey, which comically backfires, as we see in the clips that I'm showing. With the coyote often getting injured in slapstick fashion, absolutely. If you guys are falling from a cliff, do you really expect to survive? Do you actually really expect to make a hole?
Well, no. You will make a hole.
Yeah, well, in your head.
No. You hit the ground hard enough, you're going to make a hole. It's called a crater.
Yeah, it's called a crater, right? Exactly. Is that many of the items for these contrivances are mail ordered from, I could say Amazon, from a variety of companies implied to be part of the Acme Corporation. Okay, TV Guide included Wile E. Coyote in its 2013 list of the 60 nastiest villains of all time. Okay, so he is placed very appropriately in this show today, ladies and gentlemen. Wile E. Coyote. Terry says Acme Company must have had really good lawyers. That's if Wile E. was ever around to sue.
There was in the August, September, and October issues of 1982 issues of the National Lampoon. they did it a parody where Wile E. Coyote sued Acme.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I would love to have at least sat in the audience for that one. So, Wile E. Coyote. All right. Moving on to our next bad guy in today's really rotten guys segment of Saturday
Isn't that a team? The Really Rottens, isn't that a team?
Yes, it is. It is a team, the Really Rottens, and that was in
one of the races, wasn't it?
Yeah, either Yogis. It was probably Yogis.
I think races.
Yeah, maybe the Olympic.
Was that it? Yogis.
Oh, maybe it was the. No, that's the Anthill Mob. Anthill Mob. I was thinking of in Wacky Races. Anthill Mob. But yeah. All right, guys, you're gonna know who this next guy is, but let's take a look here. I got some.
Yep, see, it's Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah, I wonder where you got that dynamite from.
I don't want to know because it's probably gonna blow up the wrong way.
Okay, now you know this is Defying Gravity. You will never really make it out that far before you drop vertical. I think you're just going to go right off the cliff and down.
No. Depending upon the velocity, you can make
it
out
that
far.
You think it's all gravity related?
No, it's
I've never seen anybody be in midair ever for when you fall, you fall.
Well, you guys have never seen a guy shot out of a cannon at the circus?
Oh, sure. You're right.
So
yeah, it is possible.
And then he drops,
Matter of physics, I think you're right. By the way, this is pre-internet because I do my shopping online. All right, just so you guys know, I do my Amazon shopping.
I think Acme has an online presence also.
You think so?
It has to have. Look at the speed of the how fast they deliver.
Okay, guys, next rotten guy I'm going to show you guys is probably the epitome of a image of horror movies, evilness, and things like that, and it's all in his face. The rest of him has a body that I would die for, but maybe not. I don't know. But here is a few clips of how evil this guy really is, and you're going to know who I'm talking about.
Witless fools, do I have to do everything for you? They've lured us away to take the prince. Dolts, half-wits, bunglers, brainless idiot.
Okay. I have to stop this for a minute, and I'm wondering if every Saturday morning cartoon kid was ever called this by their parent, probably by their dad. I don't think your mom would call you the things that's coming out of Skeletor's mouth right now, but were any of you guys ever insulted by a family member with the words that's coming out of this guy's mouth? How about you, Jerome?
Oh, yeah, all the time. My brother and I especially did it to each other.
Yeah, that's true. I did it with my brother, too. How about you, Rose?
No, not what he says. No.
Yeah, are you? And you're not calling any of your kids these names, are you, Rose?
No, of course not.
Okay, you're lying. Anyway, so here we go.
Still couldn't even beat a motley group of gnomes. Out of my way, beast! Stop him, you fools! Oh, he's gone. Who does that cabbage think he is?
Did he say cabbage?
You flea bag.
Wait, did he say cabbage?
He did.
Who does he think this cabbage is?
Yes.
Get out of my sight! A lot of good you are, beast brain. Are we flying backwards, beastie? The coward is running. Let's take him now. Silence, you fuddy fool. I've had it with your whining and bumbling. Go, and don't let me see your mangy hide around here again.
Oh, yeah, that one has
furry,
definitely been used.
flea-bitten fool, I'll cover my throne with your hide. The fool traded it to me for Eternian silver. You'll try my patience, witch. It's the sorceress, you boob. Back up, muscle boy. You furry coward. Come, you fools. Too late, fools.
I gotta meet this guy, man. He's giving me a complex.
Wait a minute, Terry just said it was. So does that mean that the inspiration for Skeletor was Dr. Smith?
Oh, probably. You're right. You're right. It was probably
Terry. Well done,
good
Terry.
job, Terry. Good. Way to go, boy. Way to go, Terry. You're right. Good pickup on that. Okay, so nowadays he may be known as a comedic figure with a high-pitched voice that makes us laugh more than it's spiritual.
He's also an internet meme.
Yes, he is. Now you shut up. Anyway, so he had the evil laugh down, a host of unexplained magical powers, and a whole slew of maniacal ideas to take over Eternia. Sure, having a literal skeleton as the main antagonist is kind of cheesy, but there's no denying his popularity as a cartoon villain. He'll always be our favorite evil skeleton, even more so than Baron Dark. And while Hordak was a great villain in his own right, he's still got nothing on our man Skeletor. I have to say, man, when I saw the movie, and I ran through the theaters back in the 80s to see the He-Man movie, I thought Frank Langella pulled it off. Just the makeup alone was fantabulous on this guy.
Yeah.
And I was just crazy about Skeletor. So
for such a horrible film, they got the makeup really well for Skeletor on that movie.
It was like, wow, they've really real life this thing, or this guy. But I used to have arms like that, by the way. Just saying. Yeah, I could turn Rose on just by flexing.
Yeah.
I can actually move my pecs.
Yeah. So can I. Look. Okay, I can move my. Yeah, there you go.
I mean, I said I can move my pecs.
Please.
Rose is like, I'm going to be sick.
Yeah, Rose, your turn.
Rose is like, I'm going to have to go drink now.
It was an awesome film, Mike. You're absolutely right. Good morning. I like come in your royal boob. I like this one, Back Up Muscle Boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Frank Langella was phenomenal. I really, really enjoy it. And I will watch it. Even when it still comes on now, I will still watch it,
It's like a train wreck.
It is. It's like
you can't turn away from that car wreck of a movie.
Yeah, it was perfect casting. I mean, it was actually everybody was perfect casting in that movie. Even Man of Wars,
I just wish that they had been able to dub over Dolph Lundgren's lines.
Yeah, they should have had the maniacal kind of laughing and talking that is.
Yeah, but Dolph Lundgren was He-Man.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking about Skeletor at the time.
No, he was fine.
Yeah,
Dolph Lundgren in his Nordic accent just did not work as He-Man.
Well, it's funny how when he put that sword up in the air and said, I was not convinced. I'm like,
I wasn't convinced.
Really? No, really, you need a coach, dude. I'm sorry, you really need a coach. But yeah, so that's one of our rotten guys was Skeletor. Skeletor is just known as rotten. Do you remember that image I put up a couple weeks ago with Skeletor behind He-Man? I think Skeletor had his hands on his hips. Rose, you reacted to it almost immediately.
I don't remember that.
One of you guys said something like, "Oh, that's just wrong."
See, we're probably trying to blot it out of our memory,
Yeah, I found that image somewhere, and I'm like, yeah, this is kind of wrong. This is in the wrong. All right, so our next bad guy, we're leaving Skeletor right now. Once again, Saturday Morning Cartoons, folks, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you watching us each and every Saturday, where we take you back to your youth. I love it when people over 40 are online with us right now, and they're like, oh my God, I watch that every morning, when other people are going, I've never seen that before. Rose. Hey, Johnny, how you doing, brother?
Forgetting how old I am, man.
Hold on, let me see if I can do it. Hold on, let me see. Not this time, He-Man.
Wow, that was actually pretty close.
That was really good.
The laughter was horrible, but the line was pretty good.
I was grabbing my crotch. I'm sorry. But anyway, so that's the only way I can get it out. Oh, yeah, Evil Lynn, Meg Foster. Yeah, she has some sexy eyes, man.
I was going to say, Mike, we really hate you, okay? Just so you know that.
Yeah,
okay.
I do too. I mean, she has sexy eyes, but they were kind of creepy at the same time, I mean, how would you like to wake up in bed with her and you turn towards her and she's wide open looking at you, man? I'd probably jump right out of bed.
I could say something about an ex-wife, but I'll be good.
All right. Speaking of voices, okay, and we just left Skeletor. I'm going to give you my next inclusion here on our really rotten guys list of criminals. I'm going to read the synopsis first. But it's a character that from a show that I actually love. I love the show. I love the cartoon. I missed my chance to go see the movie, which came out, I think, last weekend. They re-released the movie in the theaters last weekend.
I didn't have it too.
Yeah,
I didn't. How did I miss that? Where were we? Were we?
I was working. I don't know about you guys.
I can't even remember what I did last week.
I sent the two of you a link to Fathom about this.
Yeah, I know. I had so much going on. It just slipped my mind until I saw where somebody had gone to see it. I'm like, oh, I totally forgot.
Yeah, and I you know what? My buddy invited me to Melbourne to see it, and of course, we're not going to announce it yet in a minute. My buddy had invited me to Melbourne to see it, and I saw the pictures after the fact, and they were all costumed out, and I'm like, oh my God, man, full cosplay they went to see this. So, oh good, you know what I'm talking about, Joe. So here we go. So our next item here on our Really Rotten Guys, I'm going to read it. He may have a voice that could shatter glass, but he's much deadlier than he sounds. Cobra Commander is the supreme leader of the terrorist organization Cobra, and considering they're responsible for every bad thing that happens in the G.I. Joe universe, that's quite an evil accolade. Even though he tends to have his minions second-guess him at every turn, and despite the fact that he was even once dethroned, there's no one who can rock a chrome mask quite like the Commander. His plans for world domination might often be considered crazy, even by Cobra's standard, but to be honest, that's part of his wacky appeal. Besides, who else would think of hiding rockets within fast food restaurant? Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Cobra Commander.
No! How could they do this to me? That is disgusting! Fools! You have allowed them to jeopardize my plan! So, they could not stop the countdown! Fool! Will you work? Will you work? No! Stop! What are you doing? Advance! Advance! Retreat! Retreat! A crab! They lost to a crab! Morons! I have morons on my payroll!
So, tell me a little bit about Cobra Commander, Jerome.
Well, it depends upon the definition of who you think the commander was. The first live action movie, he is related to one of the other villains.
Yeah.
But Cobra Commander in the comics and in the cartoons, as far as I know, was never identified. He was in charge of Cobra, though there later episodes there was debate as to who really was in charge of Cobra.
Right.
And he always came up with these wonderful, elaborate schemes to take over the world that, you know, you just look at them and you just kind of look at them and go, I can spot the fault a mile away, you know?
You know what? He reminds me of a Austin Powers villain more than anything terror written. I mean, he doesn't scare me one bit. You know, he's like a crybaby most of the time. How can he be you know, the leader of Cobra? And he looks like a freaking brass ball on the back of a F-50 pickup truck.
Yeah, but see, but then in some of them later, he had on this sort of cloth mask over his face, and where he would have this hat, you know, this sort of like Nazi type hat. And it, you know, depending upon what he was wearing, like, you know, the globe here, he's wearing the helmet.
Yeah.
And there was other times he had a mask. And then, like I said, in the later ones, it was who's really in charge? Is it Destro? Is it somebody else?
Right.
And you kept wondering, well, if he's not in charge, why are they keeping this guy around? You know? Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen that episode of Transformers, Terry. I don't recall that one at all. But man, I wish I was in on that one. Yeah, screaming at each other, him and Starscream.
I got to find that clip.
Yeah, I do too, to be honest with you. And thanks for the plug here, Mike, in terms of who voiced Cobra Commander, because I only want to find him and punch him in the face. So, you know, So Cobra Commander, yeah. How about you, Rose? I'm sure you watched G.I. Joe back in the day at some point, right?
Oh yeah, I love G.I. Joe. That's great. For a minute there, when you were showing all those clips, I thought you had like taken footage of my workplace. So that's every day.
Here's my top villain.
Is that your boss? Is that your boss, Rose?
Wait a minute. Here's my top villain.
Hi, Gwen. Hi, Gwen. Hi, G.I. Joe. Bye. So which boss is that so I can record this? And,
no.
I want to send it to our office. I want to, put his face on a Warner poster.
Commander reminds me of myself when I can't get the copier to work, or there's a problem with the phone system. I just want to take and go and just punch the screen. People are constantly doing that, man. I'm like, if the phone's not working, I'll take the phone, I'll be shaking it.
I can hear you now.
I just need this to work.
That's you. I can hear you.
This temple is in no danger because nobody knows where it is.
Where is the coffee? Yeah. All right, guys. So we got a couple more to go. That was Cobra Commander and our list of our really rotten guys. But let me show you guys this really next one here. This evil individual needs no introduction. So I'm just going to go right into the clip. Probably one of the biggest and the baddest guys. Although I do have a question, and I'm going to throw it to Jerome after we come back. If there was anything that you wanted to be in your entire life, this would not be something you would choose. So check this out.
Megatron G1. You'll never accomplish it, Megatron. Fall.
You know, I've always wanted to ask you. Are you still mad at me for killing you?
Megatron, you've got to transform.
Wait, stop. That is downright stupid. It's like, yeah, I'm the biggest, baddest guy in the entire world. Watch me turn into a gun. And say, yeah, but all I got to do is move to the left or move to the right because you can't move to aim. You got to have somebody hold you. This makes absolutely no sense.
There was a commentary there about guns being bad. That was the commentary. If you look carefully.
Yeah, and it is bad to be shown in a cartoon, a gun, but I did not create Megatron nor the Transformers for that right. Why I needed one of my robots to transform into a gun while you're trying to sell children's toys is totally beyond me. But here we have it. So a little more and we'll come back.
If I'm going down, then you're coming with me.
Wait a minute. Did you just see Optimus's pants come off?
Yes.
Did you see that, Rose?
No, I missed it.
Hold on. Let me see if I can
rewind that thing, will you? There you go. There you go.
You see that? Pants came off.
What are you doing? If I'm going down, then you're coming with me. How dare you? Oh, please.
Okay, despite his numerous incarnations over the years, the original leader of the Decepticons has endured to become a timeless villain that still holds up to this very day. A ruthless conqueror with an unquenchable thirst for power, Megatron will sacrifice whatever it takes in order to win the war against the Autobots and secure himself as the ruler of the entire universe. Okay, while a lot of villains reach for the same goal, this is the guy who can back up his claims with a zero tolerance for failure policy and a ton of firepower. Yeah, as a gun. There was also that one time he managed to kill Optimus Prime, so he deserves the top spot for that alone. All hail Megatron. All right.
What's interesting is Megatron's origin. is far more interesting than most people. And he's actually, if you go and follow from his origin onwards, he's not actually the villain per se. He's following a programming of liberation from of an oppressor.
Yeah, I understand, a leader of the other side of a civil war.
Yeah.
I totally give that. It doesn't necessarily make you evil. You just took sides and you're standing by your beliefs. But I think ultimately, once he landed on Earth, I think he changed.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, it's like I said, it's an interesting aspect of this character that as things go on, the more evolution of this character, he's actually far more interesting than people have given him credit for. He was basically, when he first launched in the 80s, he was what they would call a cartoon villain.
Right. Yeah.
And then over time, they've fleshed him out, so to speak, and he's definitely become a much more fascinating character than he was when he started out.
Right. I agree with you 100%. But you're right, Jennifer, a war that transcends galaxies. So, I think once he got off Cybertron, both of them, all of them, shall I say, it just became more. It became more of a pursuit than anything. Sure, they were on Earth, and the Autobots had their lair, and the Decepticons had their lair, but it was really, Optimus and the Autobots were in defense. It was always the Decepticons and Megatron themselves that were on the offense. They were like, we got to find these guys, we got to kill these guys, yada, yada, yada. So that's Megatron. Okay, so my next one, guys, and my last one you're going to love, I'm sure, but this is not the last one here. But my next one here, you guys know what Nextdoor is? It is a community website. Okay. Neighborhood.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that, yeah.
Yeah, well, they asked me to be a moderator on Nextdoor because there are people out there. And I think being fans, being convention goers, at some point you learn tolerance. You really do learn tolerance, okay? Yeah. Normal people out there, the mundanes, they have no filters, no tolerance whatever.
When you said Nextdoor, I thought you were talking about the kids next door.
No, but
the cartoon.
It's a neighborhood. I mean, it's thousands of people on it. They asked me to be a moderator because I really need to filter out some of these comments and blah, blah, blah. Well, anyway, I started a trivia week. Usually every Friday, I'll put up 5 images. You guys see me do it on Facebook. Yeah. I put up 5 images and I wait for the answers. And it's really interesting how mundanes, normal people, everyday people react to certain images that they see, which brings me to my next really, really rotten guy. They thought this guy was someone else, and it actually was not. So I'm going to go ahead and run this clip, and this is next in my list of really rotten guys, and you guys are going to know who he is. He's on one of my all-time favorite shows, but he was actually sequeled off to another show. Oh. You guys know what I'm talking about. Here we go.
But how, you fiend?
Diabolically simple. I merely turned the exit sign around.
It looks as if Dick Dastardly can't decide which road to take.
Quick, Mudley. Which is the road to the finish line? Left. Right. Drat! I'm stuck in the mud. Is foiled again. All the cars got through.
There goes Jennifer again.
Perennial loser, Dick Dastardly. What happened, Dick?
We got lost.
With a combination bloodhound, pointer, and hunting dog? How could you get lost?
Ask him.
All right, I'll cut the volume, and the contest, the trivia game that I did online for Nextdoor, which was mainly meant for normal people in the neighborhood who aren't like us, the superhumans that we are, they thought Dick Dastardly was Snidely Whiplash.
There's a lot of similarities there.
I agree, but it just goes to show how much they really didn't know the show, this show. Because if they knew this show, they would have knew automatically who this guy was. But the majority answers that I got was literally Snidely Whiplash. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. I never thought that. So let me tell you guys a little bit about Snidely, okay? He's an antagonistic.
You mean Dick Dastardly?
That's what I meant. Brainwash. All right, he's the antagonistic anti-hero who appeared in various animated series by Hanna-Barbera Productions from 1968 onwards. Dastardly's most famous appearances are as a main character in the series Wacky Races, and this is what probably did not show up in the clip yet, and its spin-off, Dastardly and Muttley in Their Flying Machines, where he also appeared as a protagonist. Or Stop That Pigeon.
Exactly.
Yeah, Stop That Pigeon. He is partly based on the English actor Terry Thomas. Okay, if you know, Rose, this always goes to you, the youngster in the group here. Do you know who Terry Thomas was?
No, I don't.
Let me give you some hints. Have you ever seen the movie It's a Mad, 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 Mad World?
Yeah.
Okay. There's only one British guy in there.
Okay.
That's Terry Thomas. Okay. In Wacky Races, though, Dastardly was one of the drivers who competed in each episode for first place in a long and hazard-filled cross-country road rally, which is also based on a couple movies. You could say Cannonball Run, but Wacky Races was really inspired by the film The Great Race. Yeah. So was Dastardly's character, who was derived from the film's chief villain, Professor Fate, played by Jack Lemmon. Have you ever seen The Great Race, Rose?
I'm not sure if I have. I get that mixed up, I think.
Tony Curtis.
Natalie Wood.
Maybe I didn't see that one. Maybe I'm thinking.
Oh, that one's great.
World.
But he was also. But Terry was also in Those Magnificent Men in Their
Flying Machines, which is Dastardly and Muttley in Their Flying Machines was based off.
Okay, so and the funny thing about those the Magnificent Men in Their Flying Machines was Benny Hill was the fire marshal.
Yes, he was. Yes, that's correct on that. Yeah. Terry Thomas had he had the space between it. He was well known for that freaking space.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, it was very disturbing. So anyway, okay.
Yeah, and everything I read said the actor was a sweetheart of a guy too.
Yeah, I'm sure. I was a big Jack Lemmon fan as well, and The Great Race was actually one of my favorite movies. If you've never seen The Great Race, guys, pull it up. It's almost 3 hours long, but it is a great, incredible movie. It's basically a race around the world in vehicles, in car vehicles, not flying.
And they have a couple of great sword fights in it too.
Yes. Oh my God. Not just that, but the pie fight.
Oh, yeah, the pie.
Remember when Jack Lemmon is the prince and more pies. You've got to sit down and watch that movie, Rose. I think Rachel would love it too because it's almost slapstick. It is 100% slapstick movie. It's a great movie from the 60s. So The Great Race.
Isn't Peter Falk?
He's his henchman. He's his sidekick.
That's right.
That is Peter Falk as his sidekick in The Great Race. It is just incredible. Okay, before we go to my last one, I really got to find this freaking clip here on this. So, any other comments, guys, on that while I do my little search here?
No, but we're still one short that you had to skip, so don't forget that one.
I have my list in front of me. I know where I am. Is this the one I want? Oh my God, is that the one I want? Shoot. I think I found it. I just want to make sure, is that the right one? All right, I'm going to play it anyway. So let's do this. Pause there. And this is our next character, guys. Let me remove this from the screen and get up to share screen here. Do that, guys. I got to go through some clicking here. Where are you? Maybe that one there. Yeah, I think I'm good now. Okay, coming up here. All right, my next character, I'm just going to play the clip, and it's self-explanatory. So here's the next evil guy, guys, and he is evil. This is more to real-life Bond villain evil than any of the clips that we have seen. So watch this, and then we're going to go into our last one, which everybody should know what that is or who that is.
What do you think? I do. But wherever it comes from, it's the result of a brilliant mind. You'll find out, Dr. Dr. Quest, are you sure? Dr. Quest is taking the bait. Just as I have a brilliant opponent in Dr. Quest. But this time I shall win. What the?
Okay, you guys know. Shut up! Shut up! So let me tell you guys a little bit about a guy that I miss. I miss really. You know, if I was gay, no. But anyway. So,
okay, right.
Wow.
I'm telling you, dude. I mean, he is so incredible in my list here. All right, so he's the rival scientist, of course, of Dr. Benton Quest, and a chief villain of the Johnny Quest animated franchise. He first appeared in the episode Riddle of the Gold, and he was voiced by Vic Perrin. Okay, so that's Dr. Zen, and in certain incarnations, his first name either meant Napoleon or Archimedes. Okay, Dr. Zen. So Dr. Zen from the best cartoon series in all of creation is my next to last evil guy in this pick. And we move to our last evil guy.
Wait a minute. Dr. Zen, there's just a couple of things we need to talk about real quick.
Hey, go for it.
So Dr. Zen represented the red Chinese scare of the Cold War.
That is correct.
Big thing. And I believe, and I can't prove this, but I believe the movie Dr. No, which came out in 1962, influenced the creation of this because Johnny Quest came out in 1964.
Wow. Good. Gold star. Gold star. Pass it on to Gwen. Gold star, dude. You are absolutely 100% correct on everything that you just said based on Dr. Zen because of Johnny Quest himself, you know, spy related. And during that time, Cold War era, Bond movies like crazy. You are absolutely correct. That is where that incarnation came from.
And I just rewatched Dr. No.
Oh, okay. I just listened to on YouTube 25 Bond themes as played by a group. Yeah. Which was incredible. They weren't the entire themes of all 25 movies. They were short clips. It was amazing. So if you go on YouTube and you clip on 25 greatest Bond themes or 25 Bond themes, you'll see a group of all individual singers, all individual horn players, all things, and they're playing Bond themes, and they have knocked it out of the park. And I have listened to that soundtrack 3 times already, which I think I did put on my Facebook page for you guys to track down. So, it was absolutely thrilling, incredible. But this is such a sexy bald man. Look at this guy. This is just so freaking unreal, man. Look at the pro.
Is what sort of thing is that around his neck? It's not a.
It's what's wrong with you? Aren't you a member of the fashion industry?
No, I'm not a member of the fashion industry.
You don't know what a blue is called? I mean, I don't understand.
Isn't it an ascot, sort of like what Fred wears?
Ascot, Jerome. I'm trying to tell you, it's an ascot, Jerome. What is wrong with you? You primitive man, you.
You can wear it like different ways, you know.
He's trying to conquer the world, and he's looking just fab. F-A-B. He's just looking fab, you know.
All right. So Dr. Zinn, the important thing about Dr. Zinn was he like all good Bond-like villains, has a really cool lair.
Yeah.
You can't be a Bond or a really good super spy villain without a good lair. I want you to notice that.
And he's hooked up to the internet. Look at that, man. He's like me right now. I got the same freaking. Look at this, you guys. I got a Zinn microphone. Can't you see the difference?
So what? Dr. Zinn's doing a podcast? Is that what you're telling us?
No, he's not doing a podcast, man. He's literally communicating. This is FaceTime. Yeah, he's doing FaceTime right now with Race and Benton. But I noticed I called Dr. Quest Benton. You know, we're that close. So that was okay. Getting down to my final really rotten guy. I hope you guys enjoyed this. But we cannot leave this show without probably giving you guys the top rotten guy in all of creation, even now, portrayed in the movies by various actors, all knocking it out of the park. This guy, I would not want to even shake his hand because I'd probably have something go right through the middle of my hand. Spewing the joy buzzer, spewing blood. This is the top bad guy of all time, ladies and gentlemen, on my list, my personal list. And of course, I was going to do a duo, but I'm just going to ask it over the screen. I'm going to ask the question now. When the clip is over, then you guys can go ahead and put up your answer. When the clip is over, then you guys can put up the answer, okay? And here is the question. Bad guys I did not include in this list. Natasha and Boris, or shall I say Boris and Natasha. The question is, and there's a 2-part question because there's a bonus to this. The question is, who were their boss? Who was their boss? That Boris and Natasha had a boss that they reported to. Who was he? The bonus question would be on that. Who was he portrayed by in the motion picture? Once again, what is the name of Boris and Natasha's boss? And who was he portrayed by in the live action motion picture? Here is the top bad guy of all time, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy. When it's over, put up your answers.
The way they reconstructed this temple. Completely accurate, right down to the poison-tipped darts. The drop-away floor's a nice touch, too. Come here, you little.
Gotta be.
On second thought, I love a roller coaster. Too bad you missed the train.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Amazing.
You win the prize, Batman. Catch the QB.
There's a long clip, so I'll interrupt it while you guys still watch. This may not be the first time that the clown of Prince of Crime graced the small screen, but many to this day still believe this is to be the definitive incarnation of the iconic Batman villain. A murderous psychopath, never seen without his trademark smile and laugh, this clown only exists to bring anarchy and pain to Gotham City. Obsessed with trying to bring down Batman, the Joker raised the bar for all villains everywhere with the depravity of his crimes, the genuine fear he installed in us, and the mental war he waged on Batman to try and push him over the edge. Throw in the now legendary voice work of Mark Hamill, and you have an animated character for the ages. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my number one. Okay, comment, Jerome?
The Joker has a long and beautiful history that that I've been hearing that they've actually been doing college level studies on the Joker for both the psychological study of the character and its history in the publishing industry. There is more to be said. We could do an entire show on the Joker alone, and I could ramble on about it, but I'll just say the Joker is one of the top villains of all time.
Yeah, and I think in the future we should, either you or I, and you doing it is fine, should do an entire show on the Joker.
Okay, I'll start working on that.
There's enough that we can talk about, not just in the Batman animated series, but he showed up in Batman Beyond, of course, and I think it's fine. Rose, what's your thoughts on the Joker?
I think he's probably the most iconic comic book villain of all time. He's just brutal, and portrayed by Mark Hamill is probably the best. He's probably the best Joker.
Untouched, yeah, definitely untouched in terms of voice acting. This is a cartoon show, but if we were to talk about live action Joker incarnations, who would your favorite be, Jerome?
For live action?
Yeah,
I would have to go with Heath Ledger.
Okay, how about you, Rose?
I'd go with Jack Nicholson.
Ooh, my vote is Heath Ledger as well. Although I did like them all, even right down to what's his name, the last Joker movie. Yeah, you too, huh?
Was it? I don't know. I never saw it.
It's Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah,
no, that's his brother. That's his brother. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, it was because River died.
Yes, it was Joaquin. You're right. River was his brother. Yes, it's Joaquin.
I mean, Cesar Romero was great.
He was very maniacal. It was more comic than anything, but he still had the incredible laugh. I think he really got that laugh down, and that was the first film, shall I say, Joker that we've ever seen.
I'll have to do a history on that and find it out, because there's a whole series of history of how this character was developed back in the 1940s and 30s.
Yeah, here, Joe made a great comment right here.
Yes, I agree. Less said about the Jared Leto's Joker, the better.
It was a waste of celluloid, and him and Suicide Squad